Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shingare Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to this special evening program here at Sri Sri Radha Radhanath. Of course, it's special, specially arranged because we're very, very happy and privileged to once again have the association of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Jayadvaita Maharaj, of course, hasn't been to South Africa for a number of years, 5 or so years, so we're very, very happy that he's made the trip down here. I remember many years ago I invited Maharaj to come to Durban, and he responded that he'd really love to come, but if I could assist him by taking South Africa a little higher above the equator, it'll make it much easier for him to come to South Africa. So it's a very difficult trip to come from India to South Africa, so we're very, very happy and grateful that Maharaj has come, albeit for a few days. And we're very happy that you have chosen to come for this very important topic, nothing to lose, and of course for you all here, here in the temple and listening online, everything to gain by His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj's association. Thank you very much. Very much, Maharaj. We'll hand over to you now. Also, we'd like to welcome His Grace Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu back to Durban. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shadakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sudev Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Pitita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the sayings of Chanakya Pandit, it's said that if one gives up the temporary for the eternal, then there's no loss. There's no loss. Why not? Because it's temporary. So it's going to be lost anyway. My home, my money, my position, everything will be lost. So if I give up the temporary for the eternal, then there's no loss. And there's the greatest gain, that I gain what's eternal. But if I give up the eternal for the temporary, then I lose everything. I lose the temporary because it's temporary. And I lose the eternal because I've given it up. So we should be ready to sacrifice that which is temporary for that which is eternal. Then Arjuna asked, what if one takes to the eternal path, but somehow he falls down, he fails, he doesn't complete it? Then Krishna says, Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat neha namutra. What is that? Okay. That black bit? Where? Deep in here, there's a red pouch with Bhagavad Gita, Kindle. Except the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, it's there. Okay. Partanaiveha namutra abhinashas tasya vidyate nahi kalyana krit kaschid durgatim tata gacchati. Even if one takes up this path and doesn't complete it in this one lifetime, still there's no loss, because whatever progress he's made will continue. It will continue. Partanaiveha namutra vinashas tasya vidyate. So the whole world is seeking that which is temporary, and therefore they're setting themselves up to lose everything. But the devotees set their sights on achieving the eternal abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore their gain is permanent. This is the theme. All right. That's just a small introductory thought. I wonder if you have some questions that'll make life easier for me, because anyway, it will. I wonder what questions you might have. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
How might creatures such as us see the eternal when we seem to be temporary ourselves?
I couldn't hear. Could someone relay that?
When we
How can we see the eternal when we seem to be temporary ourselves? Good question. One has to distinguish between what's temporary and what's eternal, even now. So how is that possible? We can analyze, we can see in our own selves that there's an eternal component and there's a temporary component. What is that temporary component? This body. The body is a lost cause. It's temporary. We at one time had a child's body, that's gone. We get a young body, that will be gone. Get an old body like mine, that will be gone. And then finally gone means the body is totally lost. Temporary. But the consciousness within the body is always there. You remember when you were a little kid? Something? Yeah? You're not a little kid anymore. So, but you're still, the body has changed, but you're still present. When you're an old man, you'll remember, I was a young man. I was doing this, that. Even though the body is no longer there, the young man's body. So even in your own present existence, you can see the difference between the eternal and the temporary. Yes. So that eternal part is consciousness, and that's our real identity. But I'm not the supreme consciousness. I may be conscious, but I'm not the supreme consciousness. Supreme consciousness is Krishna, God. So the eternal world is the world of Krishna. And we belong to that world because we're eternal. We don't belong to this world where everything is of a foreign nature, where everything is temporary. So we can see that difference between temporary and eternal, even in this life. Is that okay? Go ahead.
So, how does a personal consciousness join itself with the supreme consciousness in a way that is practical?
Could you hear?
So, how does a personal consciousness join itself with a supreme consciousness?
How do we join ourselves?
In a practical way.
How do we join ourselves with the supreme? All good questions. How do we join ourselves with the supreme consciousness in a practical way? By service. By service. If you want to join the party of some big man, then you come and say, can I serve? Is there some service I can do? Yes, we need some this, we need some that, we need a cook, we need something. So then you join the rich man's party by service. Here the devotees, they're connected to Krishna by serving Krishna. It's practical. That's very practical. It's not just some theoretical meditation or some physical exercises, but it's practical activity in the service of Krishna. And the devotees can teach you how to serve Krishna in different ways. It begins by hearing and chanting. This hearing of Hare Krishna's service, chanting Hare Krishna's service, remembering Krishna's service. Is that okay? Yeah. One more?
No, it's just I do have more, but I'm just gonna wait.
He has one more, but he'll wait.
Well, let's hear your one more. The first two were good. Let's hear what the third one is.
So this one is it's sorry. It's a longer thought that I've been trying to have for a while, and it comes from reading some of the books in the Bible, and I've been wondering about what the consequences are if life is not about us.
If life is not,
If life is not about us.
Life is not about us. Consequences.
you're wondering what the consequences are if life is not about us.
Yes, for the problem of suffering in the world. If
So the problem of suffering.
For the problem of suffering in the world.
so, does it mean that some of our lives will be lost to greater purpose than ours?
Does it mean that our lives will be lost to some greater purpose?
If we lose our lives for some greater purpose, that's good. People give their lives for some small purpose, for getting money, for serving some political cause. And that money will be temporary, the nation will be temporary. So they're losing everything. They're giving their life for something which is not going to last. But if we give our life for that which will last, then it's very good. Yes. And you had a question about, yes, our life.
What does that mean for, like, what does the fact that the world is not exactly about us
What if it's not about us?
for the consequence of people die and people suffer, and to what may one say is the purpose of that suffering in the world?
People die, and what can we say?
Die and suffer. So what is the purpose of that?
Yes. Because we have this body, death is inevitable. And this suffering is also, thank you, inevitable. The purpose may be instructive. By suffering, we learn something. Or the purpose may be punitive. There has to be some judgment, some consequences. Can't rob the bank and not get thrown in jail. But ultimately, the purpose is to bring us closer to Krishna. Because there are higher realms where there's not so much suffering. They're called the planets of the demigods. But the problem there is, people are thinking, we can just go on enjoying and enjoying. So actually we're better off here, because when we go on enjoying and enjoying, we forget who we are, we forget the purpose of life. We just become absorbed in thinking, how can I enjoy, how can I enjoy? But the fortunate person, those who come to earth are fortunate, Because here there's not so much suffering and not so much enjoyment. There's a mixture. That can encourage us that, as you said, to solve the problem of life, to understand why there's suffering, why an intelligent person asks himself, why am I suffering? The fool just tries to adjust. I'll fix this, I'll change that. But an intelligent person asks, why is there suffering? And then when I ask that question, I start on the road to solving that problem. Is that okay? And the world's, it is about us, but not only about us. Not all about me, that's for sure. It's about all living beings and the Supreme Living Being. Is that okay?
Just one,
Mm-hmm.
So what could we say to someone who has lost someone because of a certain disease that was because of disease?
Someone, what would you say about somebody who has lost a certain somebody because of a disease?
Someone has lost a relative, a friend because of disease? What do we say? We try to give people this knowledge of the difference between the body and the soul, or the consciousness within the body. They're thinking, now this person is dead. I mean, no, he's not dead. His soul is eternal. And so this basic understanding can help people. Is that okay?
It's just that I'm not sure. Does it console them?
Mm-hmm.
Does it console them?
Yeah, it does. When Krishna, after the battle of Kurukshetra, so many men had been killed. So Krishna did his best to console the lamenting relatives by giving them spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, just to say, oh yes, John was a great man, da-da-da-da-da, that doesn't really help anyone. But if the lamenting persons can come to spiritual knowledge, that's good for them. In fact, that's, from one point of view, that's the best time to get spiritual knowledge. When someone dies, when there's calamity, then I become a little serious. When things are going nicely, then, oh, we can have a good time, eat ice cream forever. But when there's trouble, loss, then we become a little serious. Therefore, this other book is a commentary on the book of Ecclesiastes, a biblical book. There it's said that the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, and the heart of the fool in the house of, what does he say, pleasure, enjoyment. And better to go to the house of mourning than the house of I forget exactly what he says, house of feasting, that's what he says. Better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting, because then we become philosophical. Is that okay?
So finally, so then how do we answer the question of why did John have to die?
Because he's got this body. Everyone who has jatasya dhruva mrityur. The Bhagavad Gita said anyone who's born has to die. Because I've taken up this material body, the body has to die. You can't, throughout history, anyone who's born has always died. Nothing special. Everyone has to give up this body. But Purna Janma Navidyate, if someone becomes Krishna conscious, someone revives his eternal Krishna consciousness, then he becomes free from birth and death. In other words, we have to die because we're not Krishna conscious. When we become Krishna conscious, then we conquer over birth and death. Is that okay? Thank you. All good questions. Why is it that even for devotees, the temporary can still be a distraction from the eternal? Mama Maya Dharatya, because Maya is very strong. Her business is distraction. We're not out of the doghouse yet. We're still in this material conditioned state. We're not yet perfect, so we can be attracted by Maya. We can be attracted by Maya. So we have to be serious how to keep our attention on Krishna. The education we learn, how does this help us to become Krishna conscious? Probably doesn't. If you mean school education, it doesn't help us become Krishna conscious at all. It helps us become more foolish. But Raja Vidya, this is the king of education, Adhyatma Vidya, Vidyanam. Spiritual knowledge is the king of education. That's real education. Otherwise, so-called education doesn't solve my problem. How can we best inspire our children to follow a spiritual path in today's society with so much stimuli and distractions? I'm going to leave that question to someone expert. If you want to know about raising children and so on, I'm the world's most unknowledgeable source. But first, we have to be serious about Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, how will the children become Krishna conscious? We tell them, be Krishna conscious, act in Krishna consciousness. Are you? No, but you should. That doesn't work. Yes. What happens when someone has an untimely death? Well, same thing as when you have a timely death. You have to... Everyone has to leave, and then everyone has to come back again, unless he's Krishna conscious. Yeah. If you're writing, try to write clearly. What happens when a person keeps thinking about death and whether here I be devotee, here be devotee? How can a person who's seemingly on a low platform try and perfect their lives so that they can one day have an auspicious death? Yes, that's Harir Nam Anukirtanam. Etan Nirvidyamananam. What is that? Ichchatam Akutobhayam. Then Nipanirnitam. Harir Nam Anukirtanam. The same question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj of Sukadeva Goswami. How to be Krishna conscious at the time of death. And Sukadeva Goswami recommended Harir Nam Anukirtanam, constant chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. More. Okay. But what happens when the family continues to lament for the departed due to attachment, knowing the philosophy, etc.? How do we console them? The same thing. Is too much lamenting. That's natural. When someone dies, we lament. But person, what can we do? We have to give them spiritual understanding. That's the only thing. Yes, you had a question?
Yes. Can you speak a little bit about the difference between low self-esteem and humility?
The difference between low self-esteem and humility. This self-esteem thing has become a cuckoo notion. Everyone should have high self-esteem. You should think you're the greatest, or you should think you're pretty darn great. Why? It's not objectively so that I'm all that great. But no, you shouldn't have low self-esteem. The acharyas say yes, you should have low self-esteem. Esteem means high regard. Why should we have such a high regard for ourselves? What qualification do we have? Everyone else thinks we're a fool, but we think, yes, I'm great. So, the low self-esteem, of course, the real thing is to be very humble, but not so humble that I forget Krishna, or so that I don't serve Krishna. We think, oh, I'm so useless, I could never serve Krishna. I'm such a fool, I can never serve Krishna, on and on and on. Then you'll never serve Krishna. That becomes another trick of Maya. So we should think, I may be fallen, I may be rotten, but still I'll serve. Is that okay? Okay. Krishna, Krishna. How can we protect ourselves from the fear of missing out? Chant Hare Krishna. And you'll never miss it. Everyone else is missing out because they're sacrificing for the sake, their lives for the sake of something temporary. Then they're going to miss out. They'll find they have to come back in another body. But that same thing is there. Akutobhayam. The sages ask, how can one become free from, Parikshit Maharaj asks, how can one become free from the fear of death? And the answer is given that one has to come to the spiritual understanding. Then there'll be no fear. Let's see. Oh, it was something along the lines of chant Hare Krishna. As soon as we're on the spiritual platform, then what is that? Tatrako Mahashoka, Tatrako Mahakashoka, Ekutvam Manupashita. When one is on the situated on the Krishna conscious platform, what is there to be afraid of? And there's nothing to fear. And as long as one's not on the Krishna conscious platform, there's everything to fear. So one should try to come to that spiritual platform. Finally, the microphone goes there.
My fear is, Maharaj, that if I die and I'm left in my subtle body.
You die and...
I'll be left in my subtle body, and is that something to fear?
Is being left in your subtle body something to fear?
Well, generally we're not left in a subtle body. That's described in the Bhagavad Gita. Manaschayam vishayanupasevate. Chakshus sparshanam cha rasanam granam cha. Adhisthayam manaschayam vishayanam. Because we have a desire for sense gratification, we come back and we get another such body. That's the general case. Only in some rare cases one only gets a mental body, a subtle body, and doesn't get a physical body. The ghosts, they're in that position. But otherwise it's expected. We'll at least remain in human life, and if we can, we'll go upward. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. Yes.
Touching on that point and also going a bit back to untimely death, it has also been explained that if you, let's say for example, you die in
If what?
if you die unexpectedly, like in a car accident or suicide, then you would be trapped in that. But let's say that individual is a devotee or somebody who was on the bhakti path, and they have accumulated some sukriti. What would happen to such an individual?
What?
What would happen to such an individual who was practicing as a devotee, but like took their own life or died in an accident?
Yeah, and then he becomes a ghost. If one takes his own life, then according to the Shastra, he becomes a ghost. After all, Krishna gave him a body and he destroyed it, so now we won't give you a new body. And parents buy you a toy, you smash the toy, then oh no, we're not going to give you another present for some time. Is that okay?
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In your book, Vanity Karma, the character Colette,
Excuse me?
the personality Colette,
Yes.
despite his numerous attempts at
Despite what?
sense gratification, he still, which ends in frustration, but he continues to pursue it.
I couldn't catch a word, to tell you the truth.
Colette. So in your book, you speak of an individual named Colette, and despite his numerous attempts at sense gratification, it ends in failure and it still persists.
Soul persists.
It ends in failure
Yes.
and he still persists.
Who still persists?
Colette.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that point of endeavoring for sense gratification, failing, and still endeavoring?
It doesn't say that Kohelet did that. But generally, there are three platforms. There's the material platform, then I'm sorry, not necessarily three, but give me a moment. Krishna. Yeah, Kohelet sees that people are trying for enjoyment, and then they get it or they don't get it, and then they lose it, and still they go back for the same thing. So he looks at that and says, this is pointless. And he himself has a hard time. He can't really latch on to that, put his flag on that ground. But he also, because he has no spiritual solid standing, he, oscillates. He goes back and forth. Enjoy, no, don't enjoy. Enjoy, no, don't enjoy. And this is the purpose of life. No, it's not the purpose of life. So he's described by one professor as a confused wise man. Very intelligent, but confused. Is that okay? Okay, let me just think one thing. Krishna, Krishna, Hari Hari. Okay, this is where my pocket is. We're making progress. First you have to find the pocket, then you have to find the zipper to the pocket. Then you find the eye drops, because my eyes have gone very, very dry. Better? Artificial tears. Okay. Something else? Well, there's another question here. How do we get serious in Krishna consciousness? By being serious and associating with those who are serious. We become serious by association of those who are serious. That's the most important thing. If we associate mainly with those who aren't serious, we won't be serious. And if we associate with those who are, we'll be also. Is that okay? Okay, yes?
Hello?
Hare Krishna. Hello.
So, there seems to be a general statement that you said that somehow the body is lost or something, or it's temporary and it's to be lost. But isn't there, as you sort of imply, isn't there an importance to the world and this material world in a way that it can participate in a spiritual existence? Isn't there some sort of transformation that we ought to do to this world to make it participate in a spiritual existence?
Yes, that's called Krishna consciousness. The world is actually spiritual, but it's now covered by a material haze. But by chanting Hare Krishna, we can reclaim this material world and bring it to the spiritual platform. Prabhupada gave the example that he was typing books, dictating books, and would go for transcription and so on. So that was possible. My goodness. This is called third stage tiredness. When you're a little tired, you yawn. When you're more tired, then you have trouble remembering your previous sentence. And when you're extremely tired, you'll be in the middle of the sentence and not know how you got there. I should back up. Where am I? But yes, we can reclaim this world for Krishna, just like Prabhupada was dictating using the microphone and dictating books. So that microphone is Krishna's energy, but it might have been used materially. Now Prabhupada was using it spiritually. So reclaiming the microphone for Krishna's service. You can reclaim everything. You can reclaim the land, the water, the body. I can reclaim my body for Krishna's service. Doesn't mean the body will become immortal, but while it's here, it regains a spiritual quality of being connected with Krishna's service. So that we can learn how to do that, how to connect everything with Krishna and re-spiritualize the whole human society and everything surrounding human society. Is that okay?
So, and so how important is it to do this? As earlier you answered a question about suicide, in that when someone commits suicide, they become a ghost.
Yes.
You said. So, because Krishna gave them a body and they
destroyed it.
So then how important is the body for is using the body correctly for the proper unity of a person and the Supreme Being?
Between a person
and the Supreme Being.
Yeah, put the question together again for me.
So given that when you destroy your body,
when you destroy the body,
you become a ghost.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then how important is the proper use of the body
Very
for
important,
a spiritual
because
life?
The body can be used for spiritual realization. The body has value for that purpose. Narto yasceya karmabhi. That should be our goal. To use this body, to use the mind, to use everything for Krishna's service. And the body is very important in that sense. Then in this human body I can do that. If I get the body of a pig or the body of a dog, what will I do for spiritual realization? But Krishna, a human being, can think, let me understand these problems, why am I suffering, why am I here? Who am I? These are the questions for a human being. So the human lifetime is very valuable. Durlabha manava janma tadapi adruva martadam. Is that okay? Good. What I'd like to carry on, why don't we have some little kirtan? Right? Because we go till, tell me, is that good or is that? It's good. Okay, let's do kirtan for some little time. Oh, I should plug my book, right? Okay, let's do that. We have some books to plug. One has been around for some time, this book, Vanity Karma, which is a commentary on a biblical book, the book of Ecclesiastes, from a Krishna conscious point of view. Especially those who are philosophically minded may find this book of interest. And this is the new book, Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards, which compiles different instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave about Kirtan. Because I've seen that many of those instructions are gradually becoming lost, forgotten, relegated to a position of unimportance. But Kirtan is so, the main thing we do is Kirtan. And there's some directions Prabhupada gave, how to chant, how not to chant. My favorite entry in the index says, Kirtan stopped by Srila Prabhupada because of, and then there's a list of about 5 or 7 reasons why Prabhupada just interrupted a Kirtan, stopped a Kirtan. Bhakti Charmash tells one story about how Prabhupada stopped a Kirtan because someone was chanting Bolo Hare Krishna, or Bhaja Hare Krishna. So, there are things that Prabhupada liked and things he didn't like. Directions, explicit directions, do it like this, do it like that. And so often we just don't know. It's not that we're evil, but we don't know what did Prabhupada instruct, what did Prabhupada tell us to do. So this book tries to bring together as much relevant, directly relevant guidelines as I could. It also has a foreword by Madhava Prabhu, who's a celebrated Kirtaniya, very nice Kirtaniya. So this book is now available, and how do they get it? What should people do if they want copies?
They can come forward now.
People who want copy, if you'd like a copy, you can come forward during the kirtan.
Yes.
And anything else I should say? Okay. We charge money, right? Sorry about that. But you can give whatever you like. I'll accept it.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj Ki.
Hare Krishna.
So we're very fortunate that Maharaj will be here for a few more days, and his next public program will take place at the new Jagannath Puri temple on Sunday morning starting at 11. So everyone, please, you are invited there as well. Here also on Sunday there will be a program with Her Grace Devaki Mataji at the same time. There is an outreach program tomorrow at 5, but I think if you haven't registered already, it's probably too late. But if you pray hard enough, maybe a space will get opened. So Maharaj will also be attending that. So we'll do the association at the Sunday program either here at Radharani Temple or with the Jayadvaita Swami at the new Jagannath Puri temple. So we'll have a few minutes here, and as Maharaj invited, devotees can come forward and buy his new book and his book as well. You can, a healthy donation, that is the price. Also tomorrow evening, we're very fortunate that His Holiness Parthasarathi Goswami Maharaj will be doing a program here at Radharani Temple starting at 7:30, starting at 7. So we're very lucky. This is Maharaj's first visit to Radharani Temple for some months actually, especially post his very severe illness. So please be sure to catch his program tomorrow evening. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, thank you devotees. Prasadam is being served at the back, at the foyer. You may please get. Hare Krishna.